Hello, foodie fans. Welcome to the Big Food Talk, produced by Tough Monkey Entertainment. I'm your host, Sal Conca. This show supports restaurants, chefs, and food pioneers with your help. Head to bigfoodtalk.com to make your donation today, or check out our fun apparel line with proceeds going directly to participating restaurants. Special thanks to the Long Island Food Council, Dine LI Facebook group, and Yelp Long Island for supporting this episode. Today I'm speaking with the myth, the man, the legend, and my good friend, Ron Montgomery, the founder of SixJuice. Buckle up for my most inspiring episode yet. He's all heart and hustle, and Ron has big plans to bring the benefits of juicing to Long Island and beyond. Let's hear Ron's story. Hey Ron, welcome to the Big Food Talk. I'm so excited to see you today. It's been a while. We met way back in the day at the Amityville Kitchen Co-op. How are things going for you today?
Doing well. So how are you? How's things going with you?
Good, man. You know, taking it one day at a time as everybody's struggling. It's back to school week over here. So, you know, we got the little guy heading into fifth grade.
Nice. So you get some peace and quiet in the house for a few hours.
A little bit. Wifey's a teacher in Brooklyn, so she's back in the classroom. The kid's back in the classroom. So yeah. Nice. Now I get to take all my interviews like this with you.
Nice. Awesome. You get to have a little quiet time.
A little bit. It's nice to have, yes. So let's talk about SixJuice. When did you start this company?
The idea started, I started about going on, I want to say 2015 now. So yeah, about 2015. Mm-hmm. You know, my intent was just to help my mom make juices. Help my mom because she has stage 4 breast cancer. So I wanted to make juices to help her. So at the time, I wasn't thinking about it from a company standpoint. I just, make some juices, to help my mom out and, help get her healthy. So that was the whole goal of it at that time. Mm-hmm. To the launch of the actual business itself came like 2 years later in 2017. So, it's a twofold answer. So I started actually juicing in 2015, learning, perfecting my craft, and the actual business portion started in 2017.
Got it. So I know the inspiration for this was your mom. I know it's a really powerful story. I know a lot of people can identify with it because there's so many people have had I lost my grandmother to breast cancer. My aunt had breast cancer. There's on Long Island, we have a lot of this and all over the country. So what drove you? I mean, obviously you wanted your mom healthy, but why juicing? What was it about juicing that you centered this around?
I remember her telling me that the doctors, like, she lost a lot of nutrients in her body, and because she developed diabetes, and she also developed some high blood pressure. So I needed to do something. So I had heard about juicing. I knew zero about it, other than the local juice companies and stuff like that you occasionally pop into. So I'm like, I'm gonna try it. That's kind of how it started. I literally tell everybody, I literally knew zero about juicing. Got a juicer at Bed Bath & Beyond with the $20, that 20% off coupon they have. Every week. Yeah. So and that's how it all started for me, truthfully. It wasn't like I had an aha moment, where I was, I'm going to start a company and make juices. Mm-hmm. Literally just wanted to make a couple cups of juice for my mom, and that's it.
Yeah, and it's always interesting, right? When we do that, when you have an inspiration at home, something you were passionate about because you really wanted to help your mom, and then that idea does come, maybe I can turn this into a business. So how did that unfold in 2017? What made you think this all of a sudden could be a business?
Well, when I made my first juice, I remember my friend Jackie, she said to me, it's a running joke now, she has said to me, she was like, she was the first one to ever have a juice that I made. And she said to me, she was at the house that morning, she said to me, it could be better. You know, so she gave me a bit of confidence. So, the running joke now is when I get my first mega yacht, and my first yacht is going to be called It Could Be Better.
Love it.
But she was like, people pay for this. Like, you could sell these. It's like, nobody's going to buy this. And, I had no clue, really no clue.
Mm-hmm.
So just over time, giving them out to my friend, one of my close friends, Mike, we call him Waddy, we call him Watson. He was like, yo, bro, these are really good, man. Mm-hmm. And I just happened to, I got some bottles that I found on Amazon. And I told wifey, I was like, listen, I'm going to put them in bottles and see what happens.
Yeah.
So I basically made them, was just giving out to my friends. I wasn't really trying to, and it's funny because the first time I really posted about it on my Instagram, I had like 15 people hit me up, like, I want to get juices. I'm like, what? I'm like, what? Why? Like,
yeah.
So that's kind of how it came about. Super organic. Again, not even taking it serious at that point. Like, it never, and this weekend, like, it's like, it's cool. That's the way it was. Like, being truthful with you, I wasn't really thinking about a business at that point. I was thinking about just making it for my friends.
I understand. Yeah. But that's a great way to start. It's a great way. Like, you had a friend give you some criticism. It could be better, right? You get these things. You gotta, every business goes through it. What you did is you went through a proof of concept, really, right? You went through proof of concept without taking some huge risk investment, right? You didn't go sink $500,000 into a company and go, I want to be the juice guy. And then it just fails because you don't know anything about juice. You don't give a shit about juice. And then, whatever. Right. And so you had this opportunity. Friends wanted it. Family wants it. You're helping your mom. So out of all this, what did you learn about juicing? What are the health benefits? Why are people so in love with juicing?
All right. So in my industry, we're still considered babies. It's a very young industry in the sense being, you'd be surprised how many people don't know about juicing. A lot of people, they know NutriBullet and they think, smoothies. Mm-hmm. They might have had another brand in the store, something like that, but they don't know about it. So to understand juicing, one thing I never did was I never Googled anyone else's recipe. But what I did was I didn't understand why certain juice companies had all this stuff in it, all these vegetables and fruits. So what I did was I started studying about fruits and vegetables. So I'm self-taught. Like I tell everybody, I went to the college, I went to the University of Google. So,
I attend every day.
Exactly, every day. Like I tell people all the time, people are like, how'd you learn that? I'm like, Google. Like, and I almost look at them like, how come you? But anyway, so there's so much, and I learned. So, like for instance, it's loaded with vitamins. That's the first and foremost. So you have vitamin A, vitamin D, vitamin K, vitamin C. In a liquid form, it gets into your bloodstream, into your body faster, as opposed to a pill. Right. So that's the first benefit. So now you have all these vitamins. So let's say you're dealing with fatigue. So if you're tired, and let's say you have Inferno 6, which is loaded with, it has ginger, it has beet. Beet helps to immediately promote white blood cells. White blood cells gives you energy, amongst other things. We thrive, our body thrives off white blood cells. It's like the pick-me-up. So when you drink this and you have the natural sugars, it does, for instance, like a great energy boost. It helps with the ginger. The ginger is a great antibacterial for the body. Cleans the body out. You might be dealing with an infection that you don't even know you have, or your organs, your kidneys and stuff like that. So it's great. Ginger is great for that. So juicing has so many great properties to it. Like it helps lower cholesterol. It helps with the aid of fighting cancer. It helps with putting the nutrients back in the body that a cancer patient might lose from the chemo or the radiation. And improves blood circulation. It's an iron booster. It also stabilizes your mood and helps with your mental health. High blood pressure, fights congestion, fatigue, depression, nausea, so many different things it helps with. I've had so many weight loss. juicing is really good for weight. It helps jumpstart your weight loss and detoxify. That's the biggest thing. Juicing detoxifies your body.
That's amazing. And so you learned all this on your own. I mean, you sound, it's like, you sound like you talk like a doctor now, right? You're like, or at minimum, a nutritionist, right?
Yeah.
It's, so you really, and it's important, right? Because you're giving people something that's supposed to help their body. So if you don't know your stuff, right, how are people going to trust you to provide them with that juice? And so you got to know it. You got to know it inside and out. And I love that you have all this. And so,
Sal, you and I have talked multiple times. We're very, we talk about, and I also took some classes with Cornell University just to learn more about food and the adhesion of molecules. For instance, natural sugar molecules, how they adhere to, how they fuse together with molecules in the body. And, for instance, oxygen and how it, like all this stuff that I learned and how fibers are present in certain vegetables and how you need to, so I learned all that. I took certain classes so that I can have a better understanding to make a good product that, most importantly, it tastes good.
That's awesome. That's awesome. That's awesome. Yeah. And that's definitely important. I mean, everybody says, mom always wants you to eat your veggies, right? Nobody wants to eat them because they taste like garbage, right? Nobody wants to eat veggies. So until you get older and you realize, well, I gotta eat them because, otherwise I'm not going to be healthy. Right. But so I'm sure kids love your product too.
So story about that. So when I started a friend of mine, Jack Cucci, he had a gym over in Holbrook. And he was having a heavyweight, like a strong man competition, and a bunch of big guys lifting weights and girls. So he was like, "Hey man, you should set up and sell juices." I was like, "All right, cool." So I did it. I was making these juices, nobody was buying them. So his son and his daughter's like, "You make me a juice." So I had pineapple left over, I had some kale and spinach, and I made them a juice. They fell in love. Mm-hmm. They told everybody. So once they took, I sold out. So it was 2 flavors. I had it with orange and I had it with pineapple. Sold out. So bell went off in my mind and says, all right, if I'm going to do this, why don't I just give it to my friends and my niece and nephews with kids and let them be the taste testers and decide. Mm-hmm. So for that whole pretty much 2-year period, I gave it to my friends with my niece and nephews and Uncle Six, we like this, we don't like this. And that's how I was able to narrow down the flavors because children chose them. If a kid continue to ask you for, "Mom, can you give me that green juice?" It's good.
Absolutely.
Your dad, you get it. Your son like, "Dad, can I have that red juice?" Mm-hmm. If it's not good, you're going to give it to him,
Absolutely.
So that's how.
Instead of that crap from Starbucks,
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. That's a whole nother story. I'll tell you off camera about that. That company's out of business. Out of wallet, not.
I hear you.
So, and that's what it was, man. So I'm self-made. I didn't have, like you said in the beginning, I didn't go and try to get $500,000. I literally started with a $49 juice and idea, and I'm doing okay now. But
yeah. Well, every day is a struggle.
Man, look at how I remember you guys bringing in the bags of onions, and it's you borrow from that credit card to put on this, and then your friend loans you his income tax money, and then you gotta you can't get the new car because instead of making it's a balancing act, bro.
I know. Well, let's talk about it. Where are you at today? How many varieties do you have? How many locations you're at? What's the business look like today?
So I have 17 million flavors.
Damn, that's a hell of a combination right there, man.
Exactly. That's a lot of juice. So I have in a vault, this is real. I have in a safety deposit box. I have 75 flavors that I created, but I'm only going with 6 SKUs. Mm-hmm. So to explain to what everybody means in the beverage, food and beverage, a SKU is each flavor, each bottle. So it's called a SKU. Why it's called a SKU is so that when stores and people order it, they can say, especially stores, mostly for wholesale, they're like, I want SKU 784, I want SKU 789, or. So right now we have 6. So the original plan was for me to go with 6 flavors. in each bottle, but it was too cost effective and it didn't taste good. So when you see this logo, that tree in the middle, that's me. I'm 6, I'm tall, 6'10". So we have 6 flavors. We have Caribbean 6, Power 6, Fresh 6, Inferno 6, Hurricane, and Mellow 6. So we're in a bunch of retail locations on Long Island. We're in Cornucopia, a bunch of drugstores. I just signed a deal recently to be put in all the D'Agostino's and Gristides in Manhattan, 32 store locations.
Congratulations.
Thank you, brother. Thank you. That wholesale side, Sal, is a whole different animal. I tell people all the time, that's a whole different animal.
Yes, it is.
Oh, all right. So
distributors.
All right, let me say this.
Buybacks.
Let me say this. So when I first started, I tried to be cool with other beverage companies that were out here. People that made iced teas, and people that made, what's the other, kombucha and stuff. I tried to be cool with them, but nobody wanted to be cool with me. When I had my stores in the mall, I carried their products. Mm-hmm. They never spent money with me, right? So I'm thinking, oh, it would be cool and we'll, whatever. There's no friends in this business. None. There's no friends in this business. So I learned. So now, I'm not their friend. They're not my friend. So they had a head start on me with getting into stores. Mm-hmm. But now I passed them.
It's that almighty shelf space. I mean, for people listening in, what Ron's really talking about is getting shelf space, right? So even though you make juice and they make tea, you're competing for that same bottle space, refrigerator space, whatever it is. Are you refrigerated or are you shelf stable? I forget.
Yeah, I'm refrigerated.
Yeah. So that's even more cost prohibitive to get into a store, right? So the struggles are real. It's very difficult to get on a shelf in retail space, let alone the commissions and everything else that they take out of your cost. Whatever you thought that cost was, when you go from selling it at like farmers markets or you got your own distribution channels, you sell it online, yeah, you make money. The second you want to go retail, your margins are down to like zero. You make pennies. You're making pennies on stuff.
Yes, preach. So, all right, so let's break that down for them, Sal. All right, so we're going to give you an example. Let's say you have a product and you want to sell it. Let's say it costs you $2 to make your product, mm-hmm. right? All in $2. We're gonna have our own little version of Shark Tank. Yeah. So we're all in at $2 to make the Ron and Sal, juice or sauce, right? Okay, so we got that. Now, what happens is your retail side of it sells for, $2.99 a bottle, right? Mm-hmm. So now what happens is you go to the distributor. Everybody's like, oh, go to Whole Foods. Whole Foods says, well, we want to sell it for double. Okay, that's not fine. So now let's just say it's $4 they want to sell it for, which is fine. So you have to put a cap on how much a store can sell it for, because otherwise some people will sell it for more, people sell it for less. And what happens is they don't come and say, well, it's ShopRite or this Whole Foods. They'll come and say, Sal or Ron, how come it's cheap over there and over there? You'll lose customers. So you have to put a cap on how much it can be sold for. So let's say $4. So they want to sell your product for 50%. What does that mean? Well, you now have to get that cost of that product down to make money. Mm-hmm. So it doesn't go up, it goes down. So you have to now go and work in reverse. So you're working on cents, because now you have to deal with how they want you to package it, get it to their warehouse. You have to guarantee a certain amount. And on top of it, you now have to pay the distributor. Mm-hmm. So you go in and negotiate a deal and you say to the distributor, all right, I'll sell it to you for $2.65. But they want to, Whole Foods want to sell it for double. So now you have to go down. Mm-hmm. So it literally is where you're selling it for want to sell it to the wholesale $2.65. They're going to say, no, that's too much money.
Correct. So it's a real, you really got to know your numbers in this business. Right. And to go into retail, the retail side of things this is why I've really stuck with a lot of e-commerce. I love owning my own customer. I do a lot of business. When COVID happened, I had the benefit of my product was used for cooking at home. So, you know, we did gangbusters with Facebook ads with, you know, people buying. I mean, I sold out. I mean, I don't want to tell anybody numbers, but it was, we were doing gangbusters with Facebook ads and all that stuff right when COVID hit. And so you're in retail locations and you have your own mall locations. Malls were completely shut down. How did you end up pivoting during COVID? What happened to you? Did you just take a big hit?
Well, so what happened is we're going to talk real talk. So I closed my stores in the malls last year because malls, the management in malls are absolutely dead.
Well, they're a dying breed, right?
They're stupid. Let's be honest. Because so when I had my stores in the mall, I was paying, when I first started, the rent was $3,000. I had a cart that I built, that I owned. I built the cart by hand. I owned it. So I was paying $3,000 for a space that was 5 by 6, right? Let me give you some of the fees that's associated with the mall. So, for instance, if you want to advertise on those stands that they have with your product on there, they want to charge you $500 a day. Mm-hmm. They also want 13% of your gross sales for the month. So all these things people don't realize. So I closed last year because when I literally would have lines, and what I did was, sorry, that's my dog. So what happened was I closed the malls because the numbers were getting insane. So they want 13% of your monthly. And then on top of that, I was doing so well. So how did I do well in the malls? I stopped worrying about the customer coming in the shop and concentrate on the people that work there.
Nice.
I knew that they would be there every day. That was my consistent money. The add-on money was people that would come in and pop in. Nobody goes to the mall every day like that anymore. So what I did was I had everything to go. I had a juice. You could get a juice. You could get a wrap. You could get a bag of chips or cookies or a cupcake, and it was a set price, 12, 13. I think it was $12 in the mall or $10, something around there. And what happened was when people found out, it was fresh food. The food court, they hated the food in the food court. It was just, they didn't want to eat it anymore. So what I did was I weekly would drop off menus of different items inside the stores. So they were able to call in because they got 30 minutes. So they could call in their order, come to the kiosk, it would be ready for them, and then they can eat and have time. Mm-hmm. And so
smart, man.
And so that's what I did. In like stores like Apple, I set it up with Square where they had Apple Pay. So they will all place their order. One person will come down, pick it up, touch the thing with their watch, and they would be out of there. I had a pickup time like of 45 seconds. It took them more time to walk down there. And what I did was I fought with the mall to be in the center of the mall so that I was all 4 ways you could get to me fast. And that's how I was able to capitalize on the mall traffic. And it was about advertising. Then I built my outside sales. And then, of course, I added on Uber Eats and stuff like that. And I would say at the time that one of my cards I was doing, the one in Smith Haven was doing about $275,000 a year in the black.
Amazing, man. Amazing. Congratulations. That's awesome.
So it hurt when I had to close it, but, you know, it is what it is.
I hear you. So what is the plan for the future? What are you looking, how are you going to scale this business going forward now with the way in the new normal?
So when COVID hit, I had product, and I'm in a co-packer now, which is amazing because when you get to a co-packer, it allows you to grow and focus on just the business. Being truthful with you, so I'm tired of making juices. I'm tired of peeling oranges. And I don't have to tell you, you know, you and I spend long nights in that kitchen.
Yeah, I don't cut onions anymore.
Yeah, exactly. You know, I just don't want to do it anymore. So I'm in a co-packer. And now I can grow, my company has grew by 60% just being in a co-packer. So what did I do? So when COVID first started, people were looking for something, a healthy alternative. So what we did was me and wifey got in the car and, you know, we would, you know, go out and hustle.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I was doing deliveries. I was doing handheld deliveries. I got myself a bunch of little brown bags and I was delivering right to your doorstep.
Sal, since COVID hit, I sold 11,000 bottles.
It's amazing.
I had a special. You get 6 juices for $25 with delivery. But it was on certain dates. So what I would do was at first, the first 2-3 weeks, I was kind of driving all over. But what else was I doing? And nothing else, you know, it was home. What else you going to do?
Mm-hmm.
And it was on the weekends. I built up my customer base. So what happened was, when it got big enough, I would do certain areas. So I would do, let's say, out east on Friday afternoons. And then I would do Queens on Sunday afternoons. And then, you know, I would do, you know, Bayshore, Deer Park area. So I kind of had it broken up.
Yeah, you got to set up.
Yeah. Could you run it out to me east of Talking? I'm like, yeah, but the minimum, you know, for me to go out there is $100. They say, okay.
Okay.
I'm out.
Okay. That's the way to do it.
So you want to, like, we learn to hustle. That's one thing you got to say. See, us being from New York teaches you to hustle. You gotta, every time I see, let me tell the audiences, every time I see Sal, he is hustling. And sometimes I don't even see Sal. I see his dad. I'm like, where's your boy? He's like, he's over there selling something, which is it's the hustler in us. This is what we do.
That's right. That's right. Well, that's why I'm sitting here. I got podcasts. I'm doing indie films. I got the Big Lou's. I got talking to you. You know, I got the food council. We do everything.
Yeah, because we're gonna announce that Sal's gonna shoot my juicing show. So what I have going on next is I'm building. I can't drop the location yet because I'll be signing the ink soon, but I'm opening up a juice bar on the South Shore on Long Island in the next few months. So look out for it. It's going to be a strictly vegan and vegetarian juice bar. We're going to have wheatgrass shots, you know, juices, acai bowls.
I know where you're going to be.
You know.
I know. As soon as we hang up this call, I know exactly where you're going to be. Go ahead.
Yeah, I know you know. So it's going to be all vegan. Like, you'll be able to pick up prepackaged vegan and vegetarian meals. You'll be able to do all that. So there's a need for it on Long Island. And I'm mimicking what I did in the mall.
Beautiful, man. That's beautiful.
Space.
That's beautiful, man. This has been amazing. This has like been a masterclass for anybody looking to start a food biz.
Sorry, Sal.
That's all right.
Go. Outside. So yeah, and that's the other side of it though. So I'm be honest with you. I'm going to speak frankly. A lot of these other beverage companies out here on Long Island, I don't like them. And I'm not friends with them. And I'm not trying to be friends with them. Because they're not nice people.
It's okay, man.
And they think, and you know what? And they think they crap don't smell, and it does. That's why, like, I like you, because you and I, you know, it's the money marathon. We support each other. We talk to each other. If I see you in passing, you're like, "Hey, Six, what's up?" And that I understand.
Always.
But when you talk to other companies, they walk around like this kombucha company this person has, and I try to talk to this person, and they're like, they stand there and look at you like I'm dumb. I'm like, I lapped you.
They don't understand.
I'm shorter than you, and I'm past you.
But they don't understand the benefit of collaborating. They don't understand the benefits of relationship. They don't understand, you know. And so, yeah, you do you. You're still going to be more successful. Don't pay it no mind. Who cares? But
I want to say this to the people. You don't be like Sal is saying. It doesn't make sense to act like it's a small world in a small island. I'll give you an example. I walked into my distributor's office, and I hooked my distributor up with him being his daughter being able to go to the kitchen. So he loves me, you know. Yeah. And I'm not going to say no names. So there's another company that works out of there that sells kombucha. Mm-hmm. So when they had it, he had this person's product on his desk. He says to me, I talked to this person, they act like they don't know you. And he said, I know they know you because I know you, the kitchen and everything else. I know they know you. And dismissed you. So he says to me, Six, you make the decision. Do I carry this product or I don't?
Oh, shit.
I said, I don't know that product. Why would you take a risk for a product that I don't know?
Exactly.
And guess what that person's product went right in the garbage. So what I'm saying to you is you don't know. I don't burn bridges because you always have to cross back over it. It's a small world. It's better to work with people than to be, you know, to be that person to not act like I try to talk to everybody. I try to be cool with everybody. Listen, There's other juice companies that I'm in competition with on Long Island that I help. And I say,
absolutely. That's the way. It's 1 + 1 = 3, always. 1 + 1 = 3. There's enough pie. There's enough money. There's enough for everybody to go around. If you hustle and you're really good at what you do, listen, all that really matters. People like your product. That's it. They're going to buy it. Somebody that want to pay $100 for you to drive it to Setauket, somebody's going to put down the $100 to come out to Setauket because they love it.
Exactly. You know what it is too, Sal? And I explained this to this young female entrepreneur. I said that when you go into Stop and Shop, there's a whole aisle with sodas. Pepsi, next to Schweppes, next to, I said, same thing with bread. I was like, this is one, but you don't have to be, listen, you know, it's just amazing.
My
but
dad,
you know what,
I learned this early on, so I don't know if you know my dad's history. We're going way off tangent. This is going to be one long ass episode, everybody. Buckle up. So my dad worked for Avis Rent-A-Car for 30 years, okay? As a little kid, you know, the rental car company was wildly competitive. Hertz Rent-A-Car, Avis Rent-A-Car, Alamo, you know, all the rental car companies. Avis was always happy about being number 2 because guess what? It was too much work to be number 1, but there was plenty to eat at number 2. And they focused on something different. They focused on customer service, the whole we try harder sentiment. I used to walk around in 2nd grade. My dad would give me a bowl full of these stickers that say, we try harder. I was a rock star in school. I would just hand out these stickers. They meant nothing to these kids. They didn't even know what Avis or Rent-A-Car was. But I'd be handing out we try harder stickers to all these kids at school because they thought it was awesome. But, but that's the mentality though. There's if you learn that early on, that the competition, it's great to compete, but it doesn't mean if you're not number 1, there's no money to be made. There's plenty of room in segments and different spaces, you know.
And it's like you said, listen, and my boy told me, and my mentor, he was like, they're threatened by you. You're not threatened by them. So listen, if I came into this game after you and I lapped you, yo, why, like, we can work. You understand what I'm saying? Like, Sal, like I seen, and I'm telling everybody this, I seen Sal in there with his mom and dad, and his mom and dad was tired, and they says, we love our son. We're going to make this happen. I remember the first day he walked into the kitchen. I'm going to tell everybody, it's family first. That's who you love. That's who supports you, is your family first. His mom, his dad was back there. He's like, my son got me back here washing pots. You know? I remember. But the love,
70 years old, washing pots, man.
But you know what though? Sal, your dad and your mom did well with you. They taught you to work hard, you know, and stay close to the ground, and you will be successful. At the end of the day, I tell everybody, listen, it's not about the money. I literally recently turned down a $4 million deal because I didn't want to be in business with this person. It's not about the money. Money comes when you love what you do. You can do it. I had a $40 juicer, everybody. I didn't start off. I'm from the mud. I'm from Central Lights. I don't have a mom and dad that had all this money. My dad is like your dad. They're working class men. My mom was a stay-at-home mom. Like, but what my parents gave me was the hustle and the will not to quit.
That's awesome, Ron. But actually, I was going to ask you, what advice would you give to somebody who's looking to start a food business? But I think we've covered all of that in this entire conversation. I don't think I need to ask that question because there's so much advice here for people and so much inspiration for people right now. Ron, where can people go? Where should they go find your juices right now? Because people are going to be excited. Where do they get them?
All right, let me say this. Let me just say this. I want to add to that. If you want to start a food business, do something you love. From the day you start, think about how to scale it. Let me just give you this little bit of gem. You and I discussed this. There's nothing proprietary about food. Sal could go tomorrow and make juices similar to mine and call it Sal's Greatest Drinks. You can't, there's nothing proprietary. The biggest people that act like it's like they don't know are bakers. And I said to this one baker one time in the kitchen, you know, I was like, how do you do? She's like, oh, well, I don't want to, you know, I don't want to put that. I don't want to tell people. I'm like, you mean the same recipe that I could pull up on my phone right now on Google? Because that's what that is. So the reason why I'm saying that to people is make a product, but more importantly, become a brand with your product, right? Listen, and let me give you this example. I know you got to go. I know we can talk forever, but
It's all good, man.
You know, when we go order a burger, what do you say? Can I get fries? Can I get a burger, fries with a Coke?
Mm-hmm.
You don't say cola. We say Coke. When you see TV and you see these kids in Indonesia with a baseball hat on, it's usually a Yankees logo. Mm-hmm. When you think of sneakers, you think of Michael Jordan. So what I tell people, SixJuice is a brand. It's a lifestyle. I'm building a lifestyle. I don't just sell juice. I sell a lifestyle, which means, guess who can't drink Red Bull? This guy. You have to, and what I'm saying to you is, and the reason why I say stuff like that, Sal, is people look at that. They're like, look at the juice man. Well, you're supposed to be selling SixJuice. And never cheapen your product. A lady walked into my store one day and says, oh, I could get this across the street at Whole Foods for cheaper. Mm-hmm. She's like, I was like, they don't sell SixJuice. She's like, yeah, but $5 is too expensive. I says, miss, so I was like, 7-Eleven has a juice, 16 ounces in a glass jar. It's $1.99. That might be suited for you. She's like, yeah, but it's not this. And I said to her, how come you don't want to pay? Why are you fighting about $5? And at the end of the day, it came out, she didn't have the money. Mm-hmm. So I gave her the product.
There you go.
I said, miss, it's not about the money. Take the juice. Take the bottle of juice. So anybody that's building a company, you got to connect with your people. You have to take criticism. Again, if you're serious about business, and Sal will attest to this, you're going to miss birthdays. You're not going to take vacations. It's long hours. You're going to be the driver. You're going to be a lawyer. You're going to be your own accountant. You're going to do everything. You're going to wash pots. You're going to pick up onions from the pier at 3:00 in the morning. You're going to cut onions all day. You're going to cut juice. The sacrifice that you have to make to be successful is like Sal. He has to get up, do something else, go pick up his kid, go talk to the wholesale guy, make sure, the product is going bad. You have to. You will not take a vacation.
No, there are no vacations.
You will not buy a new car.
Nope.
You will do none of that. It will go into your. So I tell everybody, listen, if you love it, put your heart and soul into it. And with that being said, the SixJuice.com is where you could purchase juices. We have the store coming up. So the SixJuice.com, we will send the location soon of where the new store would be soon. And also you can check us out on Instagram at the SixJuice Company. And yeah, Facebook, SixJuice. So we're everywhere.
Ron, you're the best, my man. Thank you so much for taking the time today. I know you're a very busy guy. You got a lot going on. I wish you nothing but continued success. I know you're going to hit the top, my man.
Thanks, Al. Appreciate it.
Be well. Thanks for tuning in to The Big Food Talk, produced by Tough Monkey Entertainment. Subscribe on iTunes and wherever you listen to podcasts. Follow us on Instagram for behind-the-scenes takes or watch complete episodes on YouTube. Don't forget to make a donation at bigfoodtalk.com.